Gabriella. I'm 8 years old and I'm in 3rd grade. When ships wanted to get from the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean, they had to go all the way around. And then one day, the white people decided they would build a canal through Panama. So they started building it, and they kept dying for some reason. And a doctor came along and said it was mosquitoes. So they put oil out to kill it. And then they kept building it, and they were finally finished. It was very small. The ships could barely fit through it. And then they decided to build it bigger, and they made locks for it. So now ships can go through without going all the way around it. These are all my drawings I've made throughout the year. This one is charcoal. This one is painting, crayons. This is a face. This is chalk pastel, crayons, painting trees, and a desert with mountains in the background, a splatter painting of a tree, and a farm. And then 4 times 1 is 4 plus 2 is 5, 6. 62. Benjamin Banneker is a black man, and his grandmother gave him a Bible, and he went to school, and one day when he was older, he decided he was going to make a clock, a wooden clock, and it took him a year to figure out how to make it, and then it took him 2 more years to build it, and finally one day he got it right. And everybody heard about it, and he became famous for making the clock. And later on, he became an astronomer, and he helped build the city of Washington, D.C. And he also made a lot of almanacs, and he was the first black man to make an almanac. And he wrote a letter to Thomas Jefferson to tell him to let the slaves go, and to build a peace department. And the signs on the door of the peace department would be a dove, an olive branch, and a lamb. And he lived to be very old. This is a picture of the Alamo. This is a picture of Hercules and Atlas, the giant. And these are early trains of America. These are Perseus and 3 Gray Women, and Daniel Boone, and Lafayette Goes to America, Sacagawea. Once upon a time, there was a king named King Midas, and he had a daughter, and he was very rich. One day, he was counting his treasures, and somebody appeared and asked him that he could have one wish. And King Midas wished for everything he touched turned to gold. And the next day, when he was touching his food, it turned to gold. And he was very happy. But the next day, he wasn't so happy because he couldn't eat. All his food was turning to gold. And then one day, he was hugging his daughter, and she turned to gold. And everything he touched turned to gold. His garden, his servants he touched turned to gold. Everything turned to gold he touched. And then he went back and looked for the person that had made the wish. And he found him and said, "How do I turn my daughter back?" And he said, "Only the water from a special river will work." So he went to find the water, and he brought a picture of it back and poured it on everything he turned to gold. And he poured it on himself so the power wouldn't work. houses. Twixt my house and thy house the pathway is broad, in thy house or my house, in half the world's hoard. But my house and thy house hangs all the world's faith, on thy house and my house lies half the world's hate. For my house and thy house no help shall we find, save thy house and my house kin cleaving to kind. This is a black walnut I found it at Cibolo Nature Center on the trail, and the inside of it is shaped like a heart. And this is the life cycle of a salmon. First they start out as eggs, then an alevin, and a fry, a par, a smolt, and then an adult, and then a spawning adult. These are flowers. These are slugs on a piece of bark. That's a sensitive briar. We don't know what that is. Yarrow, prairie onion, blackfoot daisy, and we don't know what that is. And this is a story I wrote about it. These are mushrooms. This is a slippery jack, a milk cap mushroom, and we don't know what that is. And these are mushroom prints. There's one right here, but you can't really see it. And butterflies. This is a red admiral and a yellow butterfly that I saw. Cardinal eggs. And this is and we don't know what that is. But we think it's a black swallowtail. And it starts out as eggs on a leaf, and a caterpillar, and a cocoon, then the butterfly, and it goes all around again and around. And this is the Cayeta silk moth caterpillar, and this is its scientific name. What is it?
Eupacardia cayeta?
Yeah. And this is the cocoon. And this is a phoebe, and we have one sitting in a nest down by the garage. And this is a crescent cara. We saw one yesterday driving. Okay, my favorite subject is math because I like numbers a lot, and my favorite thing to do with them is subtract them. And my favorite thing we've done is learning about nature and drawing it in our nature journal and writing about it.